Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain, and I'm your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 7-day week, 7 Minutes of Wisdom podcast. This is day 337 of our trek, and yesterday we explored 8 analogies of hiking on a tough trail, which are similar to our trek of life. Today and tomorrow we will focus our trek on the Legacy Trail before moving our focus to knowing and establishing your life purpose through the beta version of your Life Plan Blueprint course. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this daily trek through life, creating, living, and leaving a legacy, which is accomplished as we grow in wisdom, insight, and understanding. While some of our daily treks span multiple days, you can join us at any time and start along with us from that point on. If you'd like to listen to any of the past 336 episodes, please go to wisdom-trek.com to listen to them and to read the daily journal, which contains pictures. You can also subscribe to Wisdom Trek at iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Google Play, so that each day's trek will be downloaded to you automatically. We are broadcasting from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. We had a real blessed weekend as we were able to invest some quality time with 4 of our grandchildren who stayed overnight on Friday through late on Saturday. We had 3 different segments of monster versus children battles, where I was the monster, of course. In addition to that, we were able to finish the sanding of the woodwork and the floors in the parlor, and we will be able to apply polyurethane on them when we return in mid-May. We had hoped to have the grandkids help us to paint the swing and fort set, but the weather was too iffy with cool temperatures and intermittent rain, so we'll get that the next time that we're back. We also made a late-day decision to purchase 2 double and 2 single porch gliders, along with 12 pots of knockout roses for the Big House in preparation for the Chamberlain family reunion, which will take place over July 4th weekend. Nat and Elizabeth were gracious to help us to deliver them to our home, as Nat has a large pickup which was available for hauling them. Preparation at the Big House for the reunion is part of the legacy that we live each day, as the family homestead is very meaningful to all family members. We are very blessed to be caretakers of the place. Legacy should be an important part of each of our lives. That is why for the next couple of days we will focus on creating, living, and leaving your legacy. One undisputable fact of life is that at some point we're all going to die. None of us is guaranteed another breath, let alone tomorrow or many years. Most of us don't like to think about that, but let's think about this for a moment. What would you like your obituary to say when you pass away? How you lived your legacy each day and the impact that you made on others through your time, talent, and treasures is what truly remains when you die and will impact all of eternity. Creating and living your legacy in life should be solely to benefit future generations, the full impact of something that you'll never see come to fruition. Just like the farmer who plants the apple tree, knowing very well that he may never taste its fruit, living our legacy as a gift whose impact you will leave behind without expecting anything in return. And just like the farmer's sprouting tree, living legacies don't happen overnight, and they don't happen by accident. They're deliberately crafted over years of wise choices, hard work, and dedication. This certainly does not require that all of our resources be forfeited while you are still alive, but it does require a mind shift. You have to come to the understanding that you're really not owners of your God-given time, talent, and treasures, but caretakers or stewards of them for as long as you are alive. There are some basic principles that are important in fulfilling your role as that steward. And the first one is understanding your legacy. Here you really have to grasp why it is important to live and leave your legacy in the first place. To paraphrase one of my virtual mentors, Jim Rohn, the legacy that we first live, then leave is part of our ongoing foundations of life. Those who came before impacted our lives and leave us the world that we live in. Those who come after will have only our impact on them and what we leave for them. We are stewards of this world, and we have a calling to live our lives responsibly and impact the lives of others and leave the world in a better place than how we found it, even if it seems that our impact may be very small. The second point is you need to choose your legacy. Living a legacy comes in different shapes and forms, requiring different levels of effort and commitment. You may have the resources to leave a substantial legacy to companies or organizations that will impact the world. And as you create and live your legacy, hone in on where you have your greatest impact and choose to focus in those areas. Legacy is much more than leaving resources to an organization, though. Leadership expert John Maxwell summed it up this way. Too often, leaders put their energy into organizations, buildings, systems, or other lifeless objects. But only people live on after we are gone. Everything else is temporary. And Dr. Ken Ditchwald determined that there is an enormous desire for people, especially when they are older, to share what they have learned, to pass on the lessons of a lifetime, to teach, and to feel that their life experiences is being invested, even planted in the fields of tomorrow. The interesting point to this is that there is also a natural and innate appetite on the part of the younger generation to receive this legacy. So don't hesitate to live and leave yours. And the third point is to focus your legacy. Granted, conveying the accumulated lessons of a lifetime is easier said than done. In deciding exactly what you want to put into the world, look inwardly first. Start by identifying your strengths. The most obvious place is to look at your career or life experiences. You are trained to think of your skills and talents as what you do at work or on a daily basis, but if you think of them as your core strengths instead, you can begin to see how they are more widely applicable. You can live your legacy of impact through your strengths. Living your legacy should be a labor of love and not a chore. It should be the natural part that shines out of you because of who you are. This statement is important because it not only sets the direction of your life, but it also determines the impact of your living legacy and the impact that you will live throughout the world. It is part of our daily trek. Our living legacy should be an example to others to follow as we imitate God, as it is mentioned in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Imitate God, therefore, in everything that you do, because you are His dear children. Live a life filled with love, following the example of Christ. He loved us and offered Himself as a sacrifice for us, a pleasing aroma to God. Today and tomorrow, our trek covers a focus on creating, living, and leaving your legacy. This is certainly important for us to grasp as we apply and then move on to an extended segment of life planning, which will include a beta version of your Life Plan Blueprint workbook, which will be available for download. So encourage your family and friends to join us, and then come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. That will finish our trek for today. Just as you enjoy these daily doses of wisdom, we ask you to help us to grow Wisdom Trek by sharing it with your family and friends through email, Facebook, Twitter, or in person when you meet with them, and invite them to come along with us each day. The journal for today's trek is available at wisdom-trek.com. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, you are my friend, as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. As we take this trek together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.